Let me take you through the setup. So we're on location and I'm using the Flashpoint XPLOR 400 Pro in a 2-foot by 3-foot softbox. But is the gear more important than the character? Well, that's what we're going to discover, because we have the amazing Rob, who has this wonderful styling about him. And when we combine the kit and the character together, we get photos like this. But of course it didn't start here. So let's rewind and break it down. To help me out today, I've got the amazing Rob. Rob's going to be the model for this photo session, and as you might notice, we're actually not in the studio, but on location. And straight away, being on location opens up opportunities you just don't get in the studio. It can tell more of a story because of where you are. But is kit the most important part, or is character? Well, spoiler alert, it's kind of a bit of both. But a lot of people will say it's the kit that really matters. And if you agree, let me know in the comments down below. I think maybe we should start with the kit. So let's talk about the lighting. So actually my first light isn't going to be the flash at all, because I've got a completely free light I'm going to make use of, and that is the ambient light. Now, to be honest, it's a bit of a challenge today because we've got cloud and no cloud, so we've got light levels going up and down. But I'm going to try and set the ambient light to 2 stops, underexposing what it actually is at that moment in time. That gives me some shadows in the picture where I can add my own light in. You can only add your light into the shadow areas of the natural light. I'm going to use a flash, so I've got the Flashpoint XPLOR 400 Pro, which is a powerful enough light to work outside with a bit of headroom to spare. But what about the exposure? Now, I know I want a shallow depth of field. I could use high-speed sync flash. I'm actually going to use an ND filter, but to get my exposure right, I'm going to place the ND filter over the light meter, and then I'm going to pop the light meter near Rob's chin. Rob, I'm going to hold this in. And I'm going to adjust my light until my light meter matches my camera settings, which at the moment is f1.4. And when I get there, I know my flash is the right power. Now we're done with the lighting, we can think about the styling. So the kit is complete, but to make this work, the more styling we bring in, the more we're going to be able to tell a bit of a story. And I'm going to do it in pieces. So the first thing we've done with Rob is, well, giving him a hat. And I'm doing that first because adding a hat to your look can cause you problems with unexpected shadows. So it's a good place to begin. We've also got Rob leaning against a tree, which gives him something to do and tells a bit more of a story. The photo looks like this. The height of the light is actually just a little bit lower than I would normally put it, and I've done that for 2 reasons. The first one is I need a catch light in Rob's eye, that's fine. But the other one is the brim of the hat. It's going to cast a shadow, so I need just a little bit of the light from the flash to creep underneath the brim of the hat and make sure it's not too deep and dark. And once I've taken my test photo, I can start to refine the kit. So I want to get this light a little bit more round, so we have a bit more light wrapping around Rob's head, something like that. And that looks a huge amount better straight away. So now we've given Rob a prop. Now, props are really good at creating character for several different reasons. First of all, when you give your model a prop, it just adds to the story that you're trying to tell. But from a model's point of view, if they're not as experienced as Rob, having something they can actually hold answers that age-old question of, what should I do with my hands? Well, there we go, that answers that question. So let's take a photo like that and see how it looks. Here we go, Rob. To extend the whole kit versus character thing, when you're thinking about the props, they're part of that character. They have to be on theme. Now, I'm lucky. Rob's bought a great outfit and some props to go with it. But if I was choosing my own props, I'd need to think carefully, because if you replace Rob's cane with, I don't know, cell phone, then this really wouldn't have worked so well. So with the kit sorted out and the styling done and a prop ready, there's one more thing we can do to add more character to these photos, and that is the hardest part. Getting an expression, an emotion, a reaction from your model. Now, to make this work, you need a couple of things. First of all, you need a model that's genuinely confident, and I think Rob's definitely that. You need to have trust between you and the models. And finally, you need to give them some direction on what that's going to be. So if I do a straight picture like this with no expression at all, here we go. I get a good picture, a picture that I'm really happy with. But watch what happens when I give Rob a little prompt. So Rob, just over to your left is something that is beautifully poetic, and you're contemplating a poetic response to that amazing scene, probably one of our chickens. Fantastic. And just contemplate away and maybe stare off into space a little bit. And the final part of making this work is encouragement. You have to tell your model they are doing a great job, because you know what? They almost certainly are. And if you can make all of these things work together, then you're going to get some great photos. So I think we should try that. Rob, are you ready? Let's take a few photos like this. Oh, we've got some other props as well. Stay tuned. Props can be all sorts of things. It's really just something for your model to interact with. So in this case, we've swapped Rob into a jacket, and instantly Rob's got something else to do with his hands, something else to react to, something else to move, and that just creates a whole new range of photos. This really is the hardest part of the whole session, because I'm asking Rob to be not really a model, but more of an actor. So if you're not quite sure how to do this, I've got an acronym of D.I.S.H. So let's go through the letters. D, look off into the distance. That's kind of straightforward and not too difficult. I, intense, look straight down the lens. Then S, well, that can actually be all sorts of things, but let's go with surprised. You're slightly surprised that I'm asking you to do this. Yep, tick, that looks pretty good. Finally, H is the really hard one, happy. Looking happy on camera is really challenging, but Rob, it's definitely something he excels at. Props can be all sorts of things, and with that in mind, we got one of our old books, which again is in keeping with the theme of this session. Looks really good, and just to mix it up just a little bit, I just get Rob to sit on the floor next to the tree. Suddenly he's got a whole new way of moving, and once again the whole character of this setup changes, although the kit remains the same. Speaking of kit, if you want to know what I'm using, why not check out the gear links down below, where you'll find links back to Adorama for everything I'm using in this video. Just like we did with Rob here today, the kit will get you close and the character will really bring your photos to life. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, why not leave me a comment down below and click on the thumbs up button? That's always appreciated. And if you want to see more content like this from Adorama, then click on that subscribe button. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.